welcome.
What's up, fuckers?
What up?
Week 3.
Hi.
We're actually on time.
You absolute nerds.
That's a good way to start. Okay.
Yeah, that is a good way to start.
So
I'm a nerd. I can call people nerds.
That's how that works.
That's how that works.
Totally.
yeah, I'm just gonna roll into it. So my name is Anthony. Here's how my week was. First off, it's actually a week, so that's a big improvement.
Do you want to introduce all of us right at the beginning every single week? Should we do that?
We probably should just do that.
Like, hello, I'm Brandon.
Yeah, I'm Richie.
Rob.
Well, we could also just do
He's
the
Anthony.
intro.
We did
fuck
it.
him.
See? There we go.
Talk about your week.
Now we all cut Anthony off because fuck him.
Well, I could also just restart the recording if you'd like.
Well,
No,
shit.
this is
No.
fine. This is absolutely fine.
This is
What's
all
wrong with
going
this?
in.
Keep going.
So says you.
We're running live.
Roll into your fucking week.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay.
Roll into your fucking week.
All right. Jesus.
If you don't roll into your week right now, I'll lock you in the fucking basement.
My week was
Hey,
pretty
that's
simple.
my
I'll
basement.
force you to edit this podcast.
My basement.
I do edit this podcast.
Yeah, I know. I can't
My-
really force you to do something you already do.
Yeah. No, sure you can. Of course you can.
Can I?
Yeah.
You're already going to do it, though.
Yeah. But
Just
it's
force
I can
them
force
to
you to do it in way less comfortable conditions, like a
true.
locked basement with only a pack of Pop-Tarts and nothing else
that's not gonna
Those
help
are
me.
mine.
for like a week.
Oof.
Well, no, I'll bring them back to my
Are
basement.
they
Okay.
good?
And I'll-
Are they good? What flavor? Pop-Tarts?
What flavor Pop-Tart do you hate the most?
I was just
That's
gonna
the
go
box
with
I just lobbed
strawberry.
down the stairs
I
as
was
I
just
put
gonna
the
go with
chain.
strawberry because strawberry is the worst one in my
As I put,
opinion.
what the fuck?
You just pissed off a lot of people who like strawberry Pop-Tarts.
No, but strawberry is like the most basic.
I just said in my opinion.
Isn't strawberry like the type of Pop-Tart that everybody likes?
I'll be honest, I hate it.
Oh.
Welcome to the Pop-Tart cast.
Anyway,
So my week.
apparently they hate strawberry Pop-Tarts.
My week
Which one do you hate?
was pretty simple.
I don't know. I think that I've had the chocolate ones. I think they're kind of shit.
You know what would make it like way
Why'd you
worse
look
for
at me like that? Richie just looked at me like I'm crazy because I don't like chocolate Pop-Tarts.
You know
Why do
what?
you not like chocolate?
Don't
I like chocolate. I didn't say I don't like chocolate. I said I don't like chocolate Pop-Tarts.
Forget the Pop-Tarts. You just like throw toaster strudels at me. That'll ruin my day.
You don't like toaster strudel?
No, I do
This
not.
could be a lie.
I'm
You could
learning
be
a
lying
lot
to
of-
you so when you do that, you throw something.
Right, I
like
throw
down
something he
the
likes
stairs.
down there. Like he's like, I fucking hate filet mignon. Just that shit is terrible. Whatever you do, don't throw that down there.
I also
Beets.
Ooh.
Give him beets.
I also
throw beets down the stairs.
beets and radishes. I'm just chucking
Oh,
them.
no, radishes are. I like.
Man, I
radishes.
really,
Yeah, well,
I
maybe he
gotta
doesn't,
tell you,
that's the
I
point.
super,
He
I
definitely
super
doesn't
hate,
like
I super hate piles of money and anime titties. If you just threw those at me, that'd be the
I can guarantee
worst.
you, I have a drought of anime titties. I don't
Okay.
have many to give you.
Okay.
I'm not hoarding anime titties. What was the other thing you said? Oh, piles of money. Yeah, I don't have a lot of that either.
Okay.
So you won't be getting that.
Great, cool.
Beats though, I got a lot of beats.
Yeah, you
I'll
do.
throw you some beats.
Like this intro music that you just
I'm a
listened to.
beat farmer.
I get it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Funny joke.
boy, what a non sequitur.
Do your fucking week, please.
So, my entire week, I mainly worked on the podcast to the point where I uploaded literally the day we're recording. So, I got to make that better. Ran into a lot of like interesting issues where, you know, I was trying to squash the hum, and unfortunately, I don't have technology that allows me to just put in a higher noise floor. So, fuck me, I guess. And I really need to spend more time learning animation because that intro was trash, and hopefully the one you just saw was like a pinch better. Maybe the text came on screen fancy, or I get to make fun of myself in the future with giant red text on the screen of just like this dickhead did nothing.
This still blows.
It still sucks.
What the fuck?
Or it's really elegant red text.
Beyond that, I of course played a little bit more Daemon X. I didn't really get too much further. I'm starting to grind online lobby bosses to get better parts. And then I saw 2 movies. I saw 1917 and I saw Dr. Sleep, which were both very, very excellent.
I've seen neither of those.
You should.
I've heard 1917 is good though.
You should see both of them. 1917 is a really good World War I flick, which there's barely any of, to my ignorant knowledge, admittedly.
I'm sure there's some though. To be honest, I can't remember any either.
And
What, like good war movie?
No, World War
World War I
specifically.
specifically. Because there's tons of good war movies, good lord. And then Dr. Sleep, on paper, it sounds like a nightmare where it's like, hey, you remember the kid from The Shining well, he grew up and is fighting vampires. Like that on paper
Is
sounds...
that really the concept?
That is the concept.
Interesting.
It's amazing.
They're not
though.
like literal vampires, though, right?
No, they're not literal vampires.
Yeah.
They're kind of are, but they aren't.
Interesting.
It's like magic soul vampires. It's the best way to put it.
All right.
Okie dokie.
But yeah,
So they're Dark Eldar, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. It's the kid from The Shining grows up to fight Dark Eldar.
Drew Carey, sorry.
Drukari. Yeah.
Get it right.
Yeah, that's right.
The fucking Drew Carey.
Yep. Now that there's clean audio of me saying their actual name, not our joke name for him, with this podcast will be sued by Games Workshop and is now a property of Games Workshop.
Yeah,
LCC.
we're now owned by. as of right now, we already know we're owned by Games
got the
Workshop.
order. They've literally just walked through the door.
Man, I love Age of Sigmar. It's the sickest.
God, it's so fucking.
Love it.
We shouldn't talk about this.
They didn't mess up a single thing.
No one who listens to this gives a
We
fuck.
would need a lot of time to talk about this.
Also, no one cares. Probably
Anyway,
about any
A lot of people care according to those sales numbers.
Yeah, no one who's listening to this gives a fuck about Games Workshop.
If you give a crap about Games Workshop, leave a comment below.
Yep.
Tell us how much you don't give a fuck.
And that was my week. Richie, let's go to you.
My week was all right. I played a lot of Dota Underlords. Season 1 dropped.
Auto chess battler.
Yeah, Auto Chess Battles. Game is officially out of early access.
Yeah.
And my hot take, I've always liked the game. I know someone I'm staring at right now doesn't like it as much, but I hope he gives it another shot.
It's not that I don't like it. It's that every time. No, seriously. Hold on. Let me clear this up real quick. It's not that I dislike it. I don't dislike it. I don't hate the game. No, we're not fighting. I'm just speaking truth. I don't hate it. It's just every time I'm playing it, I'm like, oh, half of my experience is based on what the game throws at me, and that dictates whether or not I win or lose. And I'd rather just be doing almost anything else.
It's a random factor, you know.
Yeah, but it's a strong random factor. It's like half the game is a random factor. You know what I mean? Like there's random factors in Dota. Am I critting as PA in order to help me get this gank? What rune just spawned? Like, am I getting what I need, which is like a regen rune? Like, that's like mild RNG, right? But these fucking auto chess games
All RNG.
are like, you start off with one team build, and then it just stops giving you the heroes that you need and tells you to fuck off. And then I lose, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but
like
playing duos kind of helps with that, because then you have another teammate who could like send you guys. So now you got 2 chances to get like the stuff you need.
I just sniffed right in the mic. Sorry.
So, I mean, duos helps.
That's how much he was not.
And duos is very fun. I was playing with BB for a while.
Maybe at some point I'll try it, but can't count on it
But
anytime
like
soon.
I said, my hot take, I enjoy the game. I think they did fuck up a little bit with their Season 1 Battle Pass. And the release, I think the balance changes were all good. All the heroes are cool. The new alliances are cool. The changes were cool. The city crawl, while I find it fun, is very repetitive. And it can get to be tedious because some of the challenges...
What even is this city crawl?
The city crawl
shit?
is like... Think of it like the Battle Pass in Dota, where
you're like
you play the
clearing
hero
rooms and shit.
and you unlock the new spot. Basically, is like you get a challenge, which there's different types of challenges. There's the street brawls, which is where you go against a certain team and they give you like gold to spend, like a larger sum of gold than
As
you
Rob
usually
goes
get.
on his phone because he doesn't care about Dota Underlords.
That's fine.
And you
I
just
felt
have
like
to
pointing
beat like the preset team.
Call me out.
There's
I did.
challenges you have to do in the actual game, like win like 40 rounds with the Hunter Alliance, which then will unlock the next spot. And then there's puzzles, which are again like pre-set up boards of enemies.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you just say that sometimes the rooms will be like win with the Hunter Alliance on your team or whatever?
Yeah.
That's like, how the fuck are you even gonna know that you can do that half the time?
You don't.
Like, what the fuck? At least in Dota, it's like play Legion Commander. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can do that. I can lock that hero.
You don't.
That's something I can do.
And then there's puzzles, which again it's a preset thing, but they give you certain items that cost gold. They give you a gold limit, and they give you certain alliances that you can only choose from those, and you got to somehow beat it. And they actually can get pretty complicated. I had trouble with a few of them. And I guess another problem I have with it was they had the proto pass in the early access, where you unlock stuff. They got rid of all of it. They just took it away from people. So if you unlocked it in the proto pass,
Yikes.
you don't have it anymore.
That's
like
fucked up.
there's like some iterations of it. So like one of the things you could get was like a little like you press the button when it comes up like next to a person's name, and it will be like hot. Yeah, you get that kind of, but that's about it.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So it was literally just a test battle pass that then just ripped everything away from you?
I think
bad.
Yeah, absurd. Why wouldn't
Did they say that they were gonna that it was gonna transfer, or were they open about it?
I didn't hear them say they were gonna do that.
Did you have to pay for the proto pass?
No.
Oh. Okay, that's still fucked up though. You would think that would be like an early adopter thing. Like, here's your
Yeah.
gubbins.
It's like, I don't see why.
Yeah, thanks for helping us test the
you
game.
couldn't just
whatever.
keep it. So that was a negative. They said the city crawl can get kind of repetitive, and I think their battle pass is a little weak, but it was only $5, so that is what it is.
Improvement.
Besides that, again, the gameplay itself, I find the game better. The balance changes were better. They took some heroes out.
They took heroes out. That was literally going to be my next question.
Yeah, they took heroes out, but they added heroes in.
I was going to ask, is every hero in Dota in the game? But clearly you've just answered that for me.
And they'll be back eventually with new alliances, new abilities for the alliance.
What's the current... Here's a question, friend, to someone who has played maybe like a dozen games of this shit and then stopped, but has a basic understanding of it. What's the current meta? What's OP in the Dota auto chess world?
As I know it, and I haven't really played ranked, but I did skim the discussion boards recently.
Because I know it used to be like knights and shit.
Yeah, and knights are still strong. They're not as auto include as they used to be, but they're still very strong. From what I hear people talking about on the discussion boards, is that the OP thing in the game right now is Bloodseeker.
Specifically, just that hero.
Yeah, they actually had to do. Okay. They did a hotfix because of two heroes basically. One, some bug fixes and all that. The one hero was Bloodseeker because they added the new Summoner alliance to the game, and they re-added people they took out and changed some abilities around. So they took out Arc Warden, but Arc Warden's back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is Arc Warden still absurd?
Less absurd.
That's
they changed. He still gets the clones, but the clones don't get his items now.
Okay.
Still very good. So and then they changed up Shadow Shaman. He used to turn people to chickens. Now he does the Serpent Ward.
So they're just giving them different spells.
Yeah, and they summon things.
Okay.
It was a bit of an issue because the Bloodseeker's ability is he seeks out the lowest health enemies, and the summons don't have a lot of health, so he just runs to the summon and murks them. And when he murks them, he gets health back because his health drains, and he also gets attack speed with his health draining. Also, they count it as full-on kills. There are items in the game that give you bonus damage or bonus health based on kills. So Bloodseekers were consistently racking up a lot of kills and getting bonus 5,000 HP, which is a ton.
Yikes!
Or a ton of damage because they just go around and kill all the summons. So they had to make it.
When I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but so when Shadow Shaman does Serpent Wards, what does that mean in Underlords? Is it like Dota? Is it a fuckload of snakes?
It's three of them.
Okay, and they all
actually no way. I think it's four of them. It's four of them, and
they all take up their own spot.
Yeah, they all take up their own spot. There's four of them, and I think the way it works is that it tries to encase someone.
Okay.
Yeah. If it can't because of the map, then it doesn't. It only summons 3 or 2 or whatever. But I think the AI tries to fully encircle a guy. Yeah, so Bloodseeker was the OP thing, and apparently he's still OP even with they changed it so the summons only count as a 0.25 of a kill now.
Okay.
But he's still very, very strong.
But he still seeks them out first.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very, very strong.
Cool beans. Excuse me while I crack open this heart disease can real fast.
He also
Red Bull, please
he also
sponsor me.
has a ton of move speed because of his ability. His ability is 3 abilities in one. It's actually kind of nuts. It's one big passive. And then they changed the Deadeye alliance that he had too. So instead of needing 2, you just need 1. So he just gets phasing movement, so he can just move through.
Deadeye
units.
alliance? Is McCree in this game?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not high noon.
That's unfortunate.
But
Pre-order canceled.
and the game's free.
Pre-order of this free auto chess battler. I'm going to cancel my pre-order right now.
And then
Valve.
also our other resident Dota dickhead, Bristleback was OP as fuck.
Nice. That's interesting.
They lowered his armor by a ton because he was so tanky and his quills destroyed everything. And
Okay.
yeah, they hotfixed him. He's still good. He dies a lot quicker than he used to with the armor reduction.
Okay.
So that helps. But Bloodseeker's still a problem apparently.
Okay.
Is this how you felt when I was talking about Daemon X?
Yeah, kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So
is that a
that's
subtle?
good.
But I've been
hint?
feeling
No-
this
no
way
one
the
can
entire
see, but as
time.
you see, I have my back turned to both of you, and I'm talking
Yes.
physically to
Yeah,
Brian.
I was gonna say. I was like, is that a subtle hint that we should just move the fuck on?
No.
Dota
It's
Underlords.
fine. I'm not.
I don't even play this fucking game, but I understand Dota. So
Yeah, I'm really not against like kind of reviews and updates on like the things that we've done.
Well, that's good because I'm gonna talk about
that's
Dragon
what
Ball the second it gets to me.
Right.
And that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I was just making a joke.
Yeah, but I've just been doing that. Just playing Underlords, trying to get the city crawl
If you didn't say something, this would have been the rest of the podcast.
No.
And
Come on.
Byron, we can
You
move
would've
on. We can
kept
talk
going.
about Dragon Ball because I'm done.
Well, I mean, my week was
Dragon
basically that's your week. It's just Underlords. There's nothing else.
Do I look like I have a life outside of games?
Well, don't worry, I don't either. So here we go. I got I'm Apex still, but I talked about that last week. There's really nothing new. Tarkov. I got a little bit back into Tarkov for the last couple of days. I had some funny stories about that, but I'm not going to get that deep into them because I feel like I'm pressured for time at this point.
No.
Well, it was just I started playing with BB. Yeah, last night or 2 nights ago. I can't remember. And for those who don't know, that BB's a friend of ours. And if you were to go look at our highly successful Let's Play channel, he's on some of those videos. So if you want to know who I'm talking about, you can go find him there. But otherwise, it's not that important. He's someone that we know. And I play a lot of video games with him. And we started playing Tarkov the other day. Mm-hmm. In Tarkov, I have yet to murder any of my teammates that I'm playing with. Right? Very sneaky. No one's going to know why I said that. In Tarkov, I've yet to murder any of my friends that I'm playing with, or even really shoot them yet.
I, on the other hand, have shot Brendan.
Yes,
many
you've shot me many times. I actually made a joke about that to BB when we started playing. I was like, well, don't worry, man, if you shoot me. I'm very used to getting shot. Because Anthony shot me like 3 times.
That one game, I just kept shooting you. Like
yeah, no, you riddled me like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
In the same raid.
Yep.
And it hurt. But anyway.
Why can't you not shoot your friend?
Because in Tarkov...
Well, it's real and it's Russian and depressing. If you shoot your friend, they will feel it.
Yeah, Tarkov is very much based on like... It's first-person shooter, right? I don't know how much you've seen of Tarkov. But it's first-person shooter and it's very much based on like Milsim style games like Arma and shit. So there's very little in terms of like UI. So when I look at BB and I'm playing with him, the game does nothing to tell me that that's my teammate. I just have to know, based on looking at him, what he looks like and him telling me where he is, that that's him.
Especially it gets worse when you start putting on gear. It's not like you can color your gear. Ooh. So if you and some stranger happen to be wearing like the same armor, they could. There's actually a video that I'll put in where it's a guy was just walking with the group.
Oh yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
Was pretending to just be one of them. And then the second they started to put it together, he just shot them all in the face.
It's really incredible. There's this building, right? And this dude's just like, he's putting it in, so it's kind of pointless. But to explain it to you real quick, it's like he's walking in this building. He hears dudes walking around, and he's like, oh, that's a squad. And then in the video, you can see he just starts walking behind them. And they turn and they see him and they're just like, oh yeah, that's one of our friends, because they're in like a squad of 3. They don't know that that's a fucking rando. And then they all get to like the end of a hall and there's 4 of them. And there's a moment where they all just turn around and they're like, wait, we came in as 3. And then he just shoots them all in the fucking face. It's hilarious. But like that's Tarkov. Awesome. You don't know who your friend is. So I'm playing with BB and at one point we're clearing village on Shoreline and we're clearing houses and shit. And I think I told him where I was going. Maybe if he listens to this, he'd have a different fucking opinion. I think I
see where this is going.
I'm pretty sure I told him where I was. But anyway, I go in this wood shed, and he fucking comes in the wood shed, no hesitation. Like, he didn't even ask, like, are you in the wood shed? Because he must have heard me in there first or something. But he turns the corner, sees me, immediately fires a burst at me. From, like, whatever SMG his scav spawned with, because we were doing scav run. So fortunately, it wasn't anything too strong. But he puts the whole burst in my fucking right arm. And he doesn't black it, and he doesn't kill me. But he gives me like 2 bleeds.
Oh, Jesus.
And my scav, I don't think I started with a bandage. I think he did, and he gave me one. But I still had 1 bleed. So now I'm spastically running around the village, and so is he, just clearing buildings to try to find another bandage because I'm bleeding to death. And I'm like, BB, you killed me. This is it. It's over. And my screen's getting darker and darker, and I'm like, death is coming, BB. You did this. And then I get into a house. I'm first floor clearing it, and I hear him go, I found a bandage. And I'm like, oh, fuck, come, like, I'm in the house. Like, first floor of the house, come to me, I'm in the house. And he's like, okay. And he runs in the house, and he throws the bandage on the floor. Because that's the only way you can give people shit in Tarkov. He can't just hand it to me. He has to, like, throw it from his inventory onto the floor. So he does that. But my screen is red and full of veins, and it's black, and I can't see shit because I have like 4 health points. I even looked. I brought my menu up. I was like, I have 4 health. I'm dying. And I fucking go, and I'm going like this on the floor. I'm trying to find this fucking bandage. He's like, it's right here. It's right here. And just before I'm about to pick it up, I just keel over in front of him. Like right in front of him. My dude's like, oh! And I just die. And then he had to make it out without me, which I think he did. But that was hilarious. And then I killed him. Which was funny.
Nice.
That's a less exciting story, but it was worse because we were on our actual PMCs.
Oh, no.
And like, you know how whenever you and me play, typically the game starts, it loads us in, and it goes through all the loading. And then it has that moment where it's like, get ready, you're deploying, and then it like ticks down, like you can see the timer.
Yeah.
I was always under the impression that because we're going into a raid together as PMCs, that we hit that menu at the same time, right? And like typically we spawn at like roughly the same time in like roughly the same place. Every time I've played with you, that's what's happened, right? So this time, you know how when you're in a group, the game's a little fucky. So if the group leader doesn't ready and someone else in the group does, you kind of like go into your own raid instead. That was scary. Is everything fine?
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
I don't pull out what?
Yeah.
Richie almost pulled out of the mixer. It's very hot. Anyway, so we go into a raid, and I make it in first. And like literally like through the loading, I get to the like get ready because the timer's going down, and I say to him like, oh fuck, I guess we're in 2 different raids because he wasn't even at that screen yet.
Dang.
And so we both get in, I spawn, and I just assume like we're in 2 different raids because he's like, oh, I'm still at the fucking loading and shit. I'm walking around, I turn like 2 corners, I'm on like the map edge of like customs, like up to the north in the woods and shit. I turn 2 corners and I see a guy, and it's pretty evident that he like roughly just spawned because he was just kind of like not standing there, but he was clearly like facing inwards on the map edge, like he looked like a dude that just spawned. And I take him the fuck out. I I shoot at him like 5 times, just absolutely decimate him. And the second he falls, he dies. I'm shooting like an AK with like BP ammo in it, and I fucking demolish him. And the second he drops, BB goes, "Fuck, I'm dead." And I just get quiet, like completely silent. And I'm just like, "Baby, don't look at who killed you." And then he looks at it, and we just lost our shit because I absolutely decimated him, and I still feel bad about it. He didn't lose anything particularly good because he just started, but
right.
Plus, I took all his shit off of him, which he insured, and I just like threw it in the corner. Nice. So hopefully he's gonna get that back. But that was hilarious, and so that was Tarkov. And other than that, I've just been playing Dragon Ball, which is interesting. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to Dragon Ball recently.
The only thing I've really paid attention to are the videos you showed us, and it makes me just not want to play when you could like full health combo someone now.
Well, you could do that before too. That's not new. I'm just the combos I'm doing are new because of the new assists. Like some of those combos you wouldn't be able to do with my team composition, but you could totally fuck. Like touch of deaths existed.
You used to fuck me pretty hard before this. Now I know for a fact that if I play against you, I just might as well put my controller down. See, because you're gonna get me in a combo and just kill me in one combo.
You just gotta practice. Also,
that doesn't stop me from getting locked in a combo.
Well, no,
you know what this sounds like?
You know, the video game is built to lock people in combos, right? You could also do that
to me.
Worse.
Sounds like you...
No, just the combos are a bit longer.
Also,
that's the only thing that changed.
Also, that combo took like 5 bars of meter. You realize that, right? Like I can't do that from game start. We have to be like going for a little bit, and I have to have enough meter to do that. I have to have all 3 characters alive to do it. Like that's not something we can just start and I can go, I killed a character and I used 5 bars of meter. Like I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Still.
Also, you should not look at the fucking. You should not look at the video when you said that shit on Discord. You should not look at the video and be like, "Well, I just don't want to play because I can't do that." You should look at the video and you should go, "Oh, I want to put some practice in."
I don't got the hand coordination.
Yes, you fucking do. Anybody has the hand coordination to do that. You just gotta practice it.
Not everyone.
Yes, everyone. Anyone can practice that shit and do it. You.
Freddy Two Fingers can combo like you can.
Well, fuck him. He's got 2 fingers. So,
maybe I could learn to pull off combos on like I'll get like a freaking driving wheel.
Did you ever see that video of the guy that won Evo at Guilty Gear Xrd with a steering wheel?
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No, but
Fucking amazing. His name, I can't remember his name, but he won Xrd. I can't remember if it was Rev or if it was like back in Xrd's sign. I can't recall, but he won Evo with a steering wheel controller.
That's hilarious.
Fucking incredible. Anyway, Dragon Ball is incredible. The changes are very interesting. Z assist fucking changes the game. Like you can actually choose assists now on characters, which is kind of evident from the videos that I posted to you, but other people might not know that.
See, I like that though because now people are less prone to just picking beam assist characters.
Yeah, I mean,
they probably just pick the beams on the people, but still.
Yeah.
At least it's not like just like Super Saiyan Vegeta all the time.
Yes, and that's the beauty of it is that there's some characters in Dragon Ball, not to bore anybody who doesn't give a fuck about fighting games, but there's some characters in Dragon Ball who like are not good because their assist is bad. It's not because they're a bad character when they're active. It's because having them on the team fucks your assists up because their assist sucks. Like Krillin is a beautiful example. His base assist is trash. It's like he just throws a rock. And like the ability to use that in combo, like you can do it.
Yeah,
but it's not great, and like for pressure, it's pretty shit too. Like, why would you want that when you could have like Vegeta with like arguably the best base assist in the game, which I think has seen nerfs in like the last years or whatever. But yeah, like that's like assists have always been a huge problem. So the fact that you can choose assists now is huge. Like for instance, Cooler just has a beam assist now that you can just pick, adding to the problem of you're just going to choose beam assist when a character has access to it. But that's a thing. And it really like increases combo creativity. Like just the ability to like pick any character, have 3 different assists you can choose from. It of all the shit they did, which is pretty significant, Z assist is like the most game-changing fucking thing. Period. And it really freshens the game up like to a large fucking degree. On top of that, like small things like if you EX a special move now, it only costs half a bar of meter instead of a whole bar of meter, so you're like more likely to do that because nobody did that shit previously. Like you know how when you do a special move and you do it with light, medium, or heavy, if you did the heavy version it was better, but it would take like a whole bar. It's just a half bar now. So that really opens up like stuff you can do with that.
Yeah, those moves.
Without
period.
sucking up your fucking resources massively. God, what else? I know there's something else that was fucking huge. You can super dash out of like vanish attack now.
Wow, really?
So if you vanish and you get that opposite side of the screen wall bounce, you can follow up on it instead of having to like call another character in for them to be able to follow up on it. So it's massive. That's about it, really. Oh, and Kefla. Kefla's fucking sick. Kefla is awesome.
I remember seeing the trailer for her, and she has that one move where she puts a beam in every fucking direction. That seemed very strong.
Oh, that's her level 3. It hits the screen. There's no escape. It just hits the screen. Yeah. Now, granted, you're probably not going to raw level 3 that often, but if you do, it hits the screen.
I've remembered some clutch raw level 3s in that game.
Yeah, most people don't do them. But if you wanted to... Like, I mean, like, high level. Like, you're not going to see, like, Sonic Fox doing raw level 3 all that often. But if you really wanted to, Kefla's raw level 3 hits the screen. It doesn't just hit you. It hits the fucking screen. And she's awesome. She's, like, the fucking... she's, like, the Dragon Ball equivalent of, like, Spider-Man in Marvel. Like, she's so fast. She's all over the fucking place. Her combos are, like, kind of basic. Like, they generally follow, like, the typical vanilla combo structure of Dragon Ball. But she's just so fucking fast. Like her dash speed is so quick. She has a special on like quarter circle back special button, you know, like the thing that most people's key blasts are on and shit. That's just like a dash. She like flashes, you just can't see her, and she becomes completely invulnerable and just dashes from wherever she starts to like a certain distance across the screen.
Some like hit shit.
Kind of. And then she becomes completely immune. Like, she's projectile immune. She can go through beams with it. I'm assuming if you're quick enough on it, maybe you could dodge some. Probably not supers, because the startup on supers is too quick. But it's awesome. She's really fast. She's like a complete fucking rushdown character, which is very much my style. And I love it. I don't know if it's going to like make me want to go online, because that game kind of is an anxiety-ridden experience for me online, because it's so fast and everyone's mashing auto combo all the time. But it's good. It's very fresh. I've seen people say that it feels like a brand new game. I wouldn't go that far, but it's dope. It's very cool.
Cool.
So if you're into fighting games, check out fucking Dragon Ball Season 3, because it's pretty tight.
Robbie.
Sorry I took 3 hours on that.
No, it's fine.
I've basically been playing League with my friends. Deep Rock, which has just hit its second year being produced.
Golf clap.
No, I was masturbating. Go ahead. Them beards.
And it's a good game. If you have friends, if you want to check it out, it's fun. Deep Rock Galactic, give it a shot.
No. I refuse. I own it on Steam and I refuse
Why?
to give it a shot.
Why?
I'm joking. I've played it. I just don't play it that much anymore because nobody will play it with me.
I'll play.
I also have other shit I want to do.
Yeah.
But
Dota.
I got an Apex Battle Pass.
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
what's
League
that?
of
I'm kind of
Legends
jonesing to play some
and-
Dota.
And yeah, I mean, I kind of.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt that, but I have been jonesing.
Yeah. And I've been
Staring
playing
at all those
actually
Dota
a
heroes in your
decent
auto
amount
chest.
of Risk of Rain 2.
Yes.
A little more than usual because of the update coming out this month, which I am really psyched for, and it's coming out the end of this month. And I'm really psyched for artifacts because some of their effects will ensue hilarity among teams.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, when you said that, my brain went somewhere completely different. You had like a small delay there, and you said, and I'm really hyped for artifacts. And I thought you were going to stop at artifact, and I was like, is he playing that shitty fucking Dota card game?
He won't play Dota, but he'll play the card
What the
game that no one
fuck?
else plays.
No,
You threw me off for a moment.
but
They can't all be winners.
kind of segues into what I want to talk about with the update a little bit.
You done with your week? Is that it?
Yeah, basically. I
All
just
right.
did a lot of online
Let's
stuff.
roll into
So
it.
his week's kind of boring in the basement, you know.
Yeah. It's hard to
You
get
gotta
excited
him out of
down there.
man.
Nah.
Okay. He's got to come out eventually. He's got to eat. He's got to drink. He's got to see the sun.
I just slide a tray under the door.
Yeah, and he plays fucking Risk of Rain and League
Yeah.
all day.
That's his choice.
Not really.
Like,
You won't let me out till I play Zelda
Like
and I
most
refuse.
League players, basement dweller.
Better than the garage dwellers that are Dota fans.
Hey, I don't live in a fucking garage, Rob.
But he does.
I live above one, and I play Dota.
Are you home shaming? You
A little bit.
room shaming right now?
A little bit.
Dota.
But
Moral of
anyway,
the story, kids, play Dota.
I don't judge
no,
men.
League.
Are we doing this again for the second week in a row?
No,
let's
happened.
not.
No, we're
No,
not.
it'll
Because
happen. No,
news.
it's
Go ahead.
But,
News.
the
Let's
Risk
steal
of Rain-
Castle Super Beast thing. The news.
Lawsuit. Go ahead.
Sue me, fuckers.
Get a fucking letter in the mail tomorrow.
Sue me.
Even before this goes up, you get a letter.
I got 0.02% of the views you do. Let's go.
They're Canadian. They're too nice.
Anyway, with the update coming out and artifacts becoming a thing, when you play with groups, you can activate one of the artifacts. One of the artifacts they showed, which is why I say hilarity will ensue, is friendly fire is on.
Nice.
You can injure
Wow.
your friends, but it's also on for all the enemies. They can shoot themselves.
Also nice.
Very interesting. Wait, so these artifacts are basically just like skulls in Halo, or like mutators in like Left 4 Dead or whatever?
Sounds
That's the best way to think
I
about them,
think
yeah.
so,
Okay.
basically. And
They used to be huge in the first Risk of Rain. As a matter of fact, that's what the online was. Like, I'll track down one of the lists to put in there, but it was like, yeah, you have to play with these modifiers and whatnot because it makes the game completely different. Each artifact you put on, it's like, okay.
And it's going to be the key to unlocking some new moves that they're in development for, because you know how each character now is getting a loadout and they're getting different moves, like different basics, different secondaries, and everything like that.
Cool beans.
And I'm very happy because I unlocked a mastery skin for one guy finally, which means Monsoon, I got all the way to the freaking place where you have to sacrifice yourself, which is like 6 stages on Monsoon. I think it's a little more. And I'm freaking stoked. Doing that by myself was like torture.
Who was it? Who'd you master?
I forget his freaking name, the newest guy.
The newest guy?
The lizard.
Oh, Acrid.
Acrid.
Lizard.
Yeah, the lizard.
I have a quick question about Risk of Rain. Is Mercenary still trash?
He's a little better.
Yikes.
I want him to be good.
You telling me my favorite dude is trash?
He wasn't good
trash.
when the game launched.
I mean, he's okay.
He's not trash.
What was the community consensus that he was trash?
Kind
No.
I thought he was
kind of.
Eh. It's hard when you're like everyone else is a shooter and you're the only main.
Yeah, I mean, playing him was rough, but like I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You
And
need
I
items.
did okay with
Like,
him.
I mean, God.
Yeah, you need items. So when you're
launch,
No, but
I mean, let's be honest.
No, no.
Launch, you had basically, really, I guess I'll say 3, but really 2 characters that were just better than everyone else. You had
No,
Mul-
and
you had
she was-
Multi,
yeah, but Multi was actually broken.
Yeah.
Like
You
he
had
was better
Multi
than everyone.
And
Multi can now be melee with one of his new weapons. he
Interesting.
gets.
And Engineer was kind of stupid as well.
Like-
I'll even say the Huntress was a little
Commando
busted.
is pretty busted for being the first character you get.
Yeah, he's real good.
busted.
It sounds like you're just saying that you think Mercenary is just worse than everybody.
I mean,
And comparing him to Multi's not fair because Multi was just better than everybody on the fucking
There's
roster.
now just items
To the point
that
they
help.
nerfed him.
Yeah, into the ground.
Melee characters now got substantially more items to help them
Listen,
out because now you got
I like
mercenary, you got Loader, who is a pure melee character as well.
Interesting. There's more than one pure melee character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Acrid's a hybrid.
Acrid's hybrid, but I mean, here's other characters that weren't even hybrids. You were either a shooter or a melee.
Yeah.
So even that's a change to them because they
Yeah.
haven't played it with the new characters.
yeah, but I want to just
Rex
say,
is pure melee.
Yeah.
I like Mercenary. Mercenary was fun. He just wasn't good.
I think saying he wasn't good is harsh. I made him work a few times. I think he's okay.
I know someone who played purely mercenary and he lasted longer than any time.
Yeah,
I
there are
played
some
anyone
items
good.
you get on Mercenary that were fucking amazing if the people you were playing with would let you get them. Like Afterburner, I think is what one of them
Afterburner
was.
was good.
Afterburner was cool.
Like shit like that. Like
The
getting
glacial
the
relic.
Afterburner was cool.
getting
Huntress
the
as well.
extra base, the one that just gives you extra charges of your basic ability was like extremely good on him because you just dash constantly.
Yeah, the magazine.
Like-
backup mag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was certain stuff on him that was really fucking tight.
There's a frost relic. Every time you kill someone, the frost nova goes on.
That's
you for a
extremely
while.
good too. Yeah,
That's
I remember.
also really good on him.
Yeah, I did a
It's
run.
good on any melee character, really.
Yeah, because you're constantly humping shit.
Basically,
That's like a go-to on any fucking person.
every character's got like those items that just work with them the best.
Oh, yeah, like mushrooms on fucking engineer.
Yeah,
They
literally
nerfed that a little bit.
no one else
Did they?
wants
A little
them,
bit.
but Engineer wants them.
Yeah.
Because his turrets are stationary.
Right.
Which now that he has moving turrets too, you can get now.
Yep.
Which
He's
do more
moving
damage.
turret that do more damage.
Yeah.
Why would you ever run the other ones?
Because they're stationary and get all the benefits of the stationary stuff.
Wasn't it only just one item though? Mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, but Mushroom's also common.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
The moving turrets don't move with you. They just kind of move around the map also.
So they're
So
fucking
it's like
random.
I choose where they go and they stay where I choose them, or I place these down and they just kind of wander.
That's
Yeah.
kind of rough. I was assuming that they just followed you.
No.
No.
Okay.
I tried them out because I unlocked it.
I still stand by my comment about Mercenary not being that good.
Yeah, you really
I
hung
think
up
the
on
worst at launch was
Because-
Artificer.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was the worst.
And I
at
liked
launch.
playing Artificer
Yeah.
too.
I love
That's probably my
Artificer.
second favorite character because it was
And
Invoker.
you
I was
were
like,
a
oh, I'm
dick.
playing Invoker.
Because you were mad at Frank. I went to go unlock Artificer. You're like, no, and jumped right out of the portal and glitched my game, and I can't officially unlock it.
You were a casualty of war, dude.
You were being such
You
a
were
dick
you were
about it.
collateral
I was just
damage.
like, just want to unlock the character. You're like, nope, and jumped out
That
of the
wasn't
freaking
because
portal.
I don't even remember that, to be honest. I know it happened, but I know
I know it happened, but I don't remember
you
it.
were a cat. You were collateral damage. And
I don't think that was going to hold up in court.
Revenge against Frank because he needed revenge.
Judge, I know it happened, but I don't remember.
Here's it in writing, but I don't
claim
recall.
ignorance.
The fuck?
You're
But you
lucky.
got him.
Yeah,
You could have put a ticket in or something.
I did.
Yeah, see, it worked out. But my point being, because just the fact that and honestly, now I guess there's more melee characters.
Yeah.
He had like the dashes that kind of helped, but like when it got up to high difficulty on on Monsoon, he just couldn't survive that well compared to the ranged characters.
Well,
He could constantly be up close to these monsters that basically one-shot him. It just was
but you gotta remember.
Yeah, but if you were decent with him, you could outplay.
You also gotta remember, like at the
hard.
beginning, Blaze was like ridiculous, and at higher levels, Blaze instant killed you.
Mercenary, and the reason
which is why I started this with saying at the beginning, I hope Mercenary is better than what he was.
Oh, he's much better. And Blaze took a hit. It's no longer like instant giving you.
But when the game launched, I really think he wasn't unplayable by any stretch, but he was rough compared to other ones.
Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't. I think
I think
maybe he needed buffs, but I think there's a difference between him being bad and just being hard to use. I think there's a difference because if you were good enough with him, like for instance with some of the bosses, they had big moves that they telegraphed, and like you're up in their face and you can't find like cover for it. Like when the giant jellyfish thing does the fucking board clear,
the Wanderer
wipe, sure, that thing. Like you could dodge it with his
Czar.
Yeah, I can't remember the buttons, but that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like you could do shit like that with him, and as long as you were decent enough at it and you knew like the basic attack combo to go to like when to like cancel it in a dash and shit like that, like you could dodge stuff, and he wasn't like the worst.
I will say.
Then you fight things like that fireworm,
Magma
and
worm.
he's like,
that's
useless.
Useless is strong. I could fight the fucking fireworm.
You just gotta wait for it to go up, and then you just bar because you auto hit all its parts and do a massive amount of damage.
Not just that, you can literally follow it into the sky by canceling the dash too. Like you can auto attack it, dash through it, and if you have like backup mags and shit, you can just do that forever. What time? Okay, you can say it, friend. You don't gotta give me hand signals.
Yeah, but it plays way better.
No, it's fine. The people can hear that we need to go.
Okay. So.
But we should totally play Risk of Rain, all of us.
Yes.
And if you guys want to see that, leave a comment below.
I probably have to update it.
Launch Dota.
Yeah, we're that.
Too bad.
Play fucking Dota, Rob.
Make me.
Okay.
It's free.
I'm gonna hack your computer. I'm gonna tunnel into your computer. Force you to install Dota.
You're gonna leave for work one day next week. You're gonna come home. Dota's gonna be installed.
And nothing else.
Yeah, the rest of your Steam library will be uninstalled.
Just Dota will remain.
League will be hard fucking deleted.
Hard.
Just be Dota.
And then when you go to school one day, you'll find everything in your computer erased. Just
I got backups.
Anyway, so more news. Here we go. So a little niche this news is the SCP Foundation, which for those of you who don't know,
I know nothing about this, so this is news to me.
So the SCP Foundation started on 4chan, grew into its own thing super quickly. It is no stranger to online-based controversy and upheavals, but it's in the newest one is legality, because Russian copyright is really goddamn strange, and I believe at least that it's due to making merchandise and kind of being semi-successful off of that. A dude is basically suing for like full legal control. What's the dude's name?
Dickus Buttus.
Right, the very
Assholus Maximus.
The very Russian name, Dickus Buckets.
Dickus Buttus Assholus Maximus.
Andre. I won't say his last name because I think that feels skeezy.
Find him.
Why not?
Harass
He's in the
him.
fucking news, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right. So why even bother? Anyway.
Wiener pee-pee doo-doo head.
Yeah. So that's going on. So, and I mean, it's not potentially the worst thing. Potentially could be.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible if it goes through.
Because then technically he'll own that, and then through that he could own the other SCPs.
So I don't understand, and I don't know if you
No,
know.
he would completely own them. It's not.
No. But here's the thing: it's like the what he's legally going for is not the SCP Foundation. He's going for the Russian version of the site. But if he wins that, then he could argue all the others. It would have to be a multi-stage thing.
Yeah.
So please explain this to me if you even know and can explain it to me, because I don't know how much info you have on hand. How is this guy doing this? Like how is he? Does he have some kind of tie to the Russian site for SCP? Does he
I think he made merch.
Yeah. Again.
He made merch.
He made the merch.
Yeah.
No,
and
he made merch off of other people who already made stuff. because it's supposed to be free to use, basically, content.
Right.
The SCP Foundation.
Right.
And now he's made merch off it, and it's become semi-successful. So he's like, that's not mine.
Well,
Because
it's
Russian
not.
copyright.
It's not just like that's mine type of thing. I don't think he's trying to claim ownership like I made this, but he is trying to trademark it, which legally would do the same thing.
That's fucked up. That
And
sounds like that shouldn't be possible.
Basically
but then
claiming
again,
the
that's
website
Russia.
Russian. In
I'll
Russia.
admit, I'm in Russia right now. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
You don't know
You
SCP?
don't know SCP Foundation?
No.
at
What
all?
the fuck?
Basically, what it is
My boy.
it's
My young
They've
boy.
made some really actually fun games, people, with the SCP.
Yeah.
Of course. The fucking Containment Breach. And
They've made more, and they've updated.
yeah, they have like the multiplayer version of
Yeah.
it.
It's really cool.
long story
I haven't
short,
played it or
it's
anything,
like
but
a
I've seen it.
it's like an X-Files Slenderman type thing where it's like
It's a bunch of
all it is it's a website with a bunch of pages. The page is, I think, required to have an image, which could be of anything. It can't be drawn rules-wise. It has to be, some either an art piece or whatever, or and then it's containment procedures because it's basically everything is like fucking magic or is trying to kill you or is weird stuff. So it'd be like it's like documentation and notarizing of a warehouse full of evil shit.
Yeah.
It is.
I feel like I've seen you watch.
Have you?
Oh yeah,
Have you seen Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah.
it's like
You know the end.
Yeah. I know the movie.
That's essentially what SCP Foundation is.
Okay.
Because there's like a meta to it where it's like, yeah, it's like a collection of like
Cryptids.
people created like creepypastas basically, but it's like they're all based around like an entity or an object, and then the meta of it is that it's like an organization that's like keeping it somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen
For, like,
I've seen
every
him
single
watch videos of it, but I've never watched anything.
And so it's very fucking popular.
So, but that's
and very cool. Honestly.
Yeah, some of them are cool. Some of them are a little cringy, but some of them,
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
which is what happens when you just
Open the
anybody can
doors.
fucking make one.
Yeah, it's also created a really interesting timeline with SCP where there was a time where it was like, this is good, this is bad, this is good.
I remember
this is bad.
very very recently, like within the last like year or so, I was doing like one of my random like SCP dives where I'll just go on the website and I'll be like, let me just click on this one, and I was reading it, and one of them was basically just like some dudes, like 2 anime OCs, where it was like they opened up a box and there was a guy in it and he had a sword and he was really strong, and I was like, yeah, this is one of the weaker ones.
The good old Able line. Anyway,
Is that specifically what it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you just name it?
the Able line became a new term because one of the first kind of OC badass guys was, I think it was Able was the name. I don't know what the actual SCP notary is. I don't even know if he's on the website anymore. They might have killed him off, but and then a lot of OC started to flow in that was kind of like that. This was one of the darker times in SCP, and they came up with a rule called the Able line, where it's like, if you go over this, you're just deleted. You do not.
That's
like
awesome.
This is the example of how much we'll tolerate.
Well, whatever I was reading was dangerously close to anime OC, and I was like, this is not that good.
Yep.
This is definitely one of the shittier ones that I've read.
Okay.
But anyway, that's unfortunate, and I have no idea how that's possible.
Yeah,
and I hope
it's
it doesn't
doing.
happen.
I mean, it's doing pretty good. It's like in the initial stages. They did a fundraiser and they got like triple the money they wanted for a legal defense.
Yeah, I was gonna
It'll
say,
be interesting to see how it pans out, because there is the off chance that the guy just wants to trademark his products, and it's like this weird side effect of he'll own a version of the website and he may not go anywhere beyond that. You know, he could just be trying to protect his merch, but he could also be a complete scumbag.
I hope he loses.
The jury's out.
Right.
Scumbag or not?
You decide.
You decide.
Comment below.
I decide.
The Russian
scumbag.
courts will decide. Scumbag or not?
We were talking a lot about Dragon Ball Z Fighter, so let's talk about Goku.
Yeah, there's a new character coming. It's Goku. But at this point,
Surprise!
at this point, like this is kind
This
of old
is
news.
to go even beyond.
Yeah, at this point, this is somewhat old news because this was like a month ago. But yeah, we know that after Kefla, we're getting Ultra Instinct Goku, and everyone's excited.
It's Goku.
Especially
with white hair.
And then after Ultra Instinct Goku, we'll get GT Goku.
It really is shocking to me, right? So
Isn't he in the game? Is he in the game?
no, GT Goku is in the game. Yeah.
Are you serious?
My friend, you want me to start
I
fucking
was
rolling through Goku?
joking.
He's in the game.
There's literally like 12 Gokus.
Are we going through the Goku?
I know.
in Fighterz right now?
I know.
It's shocking and
Yeah.
trash.
He's the sword fighter of
Yeah, he's the Fire Emblem Sword character of Dragon Ball Fighterz. And we're getting another one, believe it or not, which is fucking annoying.
What, another Fire Emblem
No, what I want?
Another Goku in Dragon Ball.
You know what I want with all my heart? I want there to be like no more Goku characters, and then finally like a DLC character like gets like
OC Goku.
We're like, yeah, a new DLC character, and it's definitely not Goku, and then I want it to be Turles.
I don't even know who the fuck Turles is. Who the fuck is Turles?
He's Goku's like brother that looks exactly like him.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's from the Tree of Life movies.
Yeah. He's like, is he canon?
I think
technically no.
Because aren't the movies like non-canon?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Not that has stopped anyone.
Which is a shame because the villain with the coolest design aesthetically, in my opinion, is technically not canon. And that would be Cooler. Cooler's fucking awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of non-canon characters in Fighterz.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
the older Broly
Garlic Jr.
Yeah, but he's canon now. Just the newer version of him.
Well, yeah, the newer version.
It's a different version.
I like the newer version of Broly personally.
Dude, in Fighterz, he's busted. Like, actually busted. Like, he gets like 9,000 damage mid-screen with like fucking 2 bars of meter. It's bonkers. 9,000 damage is basically like almost killing a character. Okay. He's thumbs upping me because he doesn't care. But
is it not caring or is it not understanding? You decide.
A character has 10,000 health, Rob. He can do 9,000 from mid-screen.
Would you
it's
say
over 9,000?
It's over 9,000.
Yeah, you fucking sniped it from me. You fucking sniped it from
I
me.
had water in my mouth. I couldn't even.
Anyway, we're getting another fucking Goku, and it sucks my ass. You have this game, right? You're making this game. It's this massively popular, widely successful game. Everyone loves Dragon Ball, right? And you have this wide cast of characters to choose from. There's a lot of characters in Dragon Ball that aren't just Goku.
At any time,
or like,
where's Yamaroshi?
Or like various iterations of Goku.
Just think back to freaking, what is it,
Tenkaichi and the fucking massive roster that those games had.
Gigantic roster. Yeah. Insane
And what do you do if you're Arxis? You're just like, I guess we'll put an Ultra Instinct Goku.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Even in that game, there was like 20 Gokus.
Oh, yeah.
What is going on?
I am one Goku, and then when you select them, 5 different variations.
Yeah. I am waiting for the capsule system, too, that you could fine-tune to
the eventuality that Master Roshi's put in that game, because he will be.
He can't fly. How's he going to super dash?
Nimbus, flying Nimbus.
That's true. You can do that.
You can do anything.
I think they'll bullshit some excuse to give him super dash.
Yeah,
I mean, he has to have super dash or else he's a trash character.
Hercule in that game.
Well, how would Hercule super dash as
well? Jetpack.
I want him in there, but
actually.
Okay.
He's got a jetpack.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
You can put fucking Bulma in the game if you really want to bullshit it.
Dude, I would love Bulma in like a mech. That'd be fucking sick.
Not even a mech. She could
be on my team in an instant.
She could be throwing out capsules. She could be like what was the girl from Guilty Gear that was playing a MOBA?
Oh, Jacko.
Jacko, yeah.
I kind of feel like she has to be in a mech, though, because that makes no sense why she's taking punches from
because everything else about Dragon Ball makes so much sense.
Well, Bulma has never been able to do anything outside of a mech.
She takes a pounding from a Saiyan.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice. I see what you did there. How does Vegeta not just break her in half?
How does the act of his...
It's like Superman fucking Lois Lane. Like, how do you do that?
This
topics for maybe not this podcast.
This is definitely a topic
for
this podcast.
All I'm saying is,
you think I'm not going to talk about this?
That guy has trained in like how many times Earth gravity? 100 times. His ejaculate would just shred her. He would core her out like a fucking 12
Big Bang attack!
Quality content.
And then Bulma dies and Trunks pops out.
From the corpse.
He's got 2 kids.
Oh, who's the other kid?
Bulla.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't even know
That's
that.
a GT thing.
I'm not...
No, now it's a super thing. It's canon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
Just make Cooler canon, man. Just do it. Do they even reference Cooler at all in Super?
No.
Ever? Fucking suck my ass.
Yeah.
He's like the coolest villain, and they don't give a fuck. With the shittiest fight scene in Dragon Ball. Have you ever seen that?
No.
You ever seen the fight scene? He's the coolest looking fucking character. He shows up, fights Goku for like 5 minutes, fucks him up, and then Goku goes Super Saiyan and shoots him into the sun. And that's all Cooler does.
Nice.
In the first movie.
And then he became meta Cooler.
Yeah, which is like really stupid. I read about that. Yeah. It's really dumb.
I just love the abridged version of Metal Cooler.
But Cooler's fucking awesome. He's the goddamn. He looks like a fucking predator in Dragon Ball, basically, with spike heads.
Cool. I'll give you his design is
He's
cooler.
fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's always on my team in Fighterz, because he's awesome. And someone's got to rep Cooler.
He's really not that stronger than Frieza, and they really didn't need to put another Frieza in the universe, I guess.
I mean, he's technically, when he shows up in the movie, which is non-canon, don't they hype him as being stronger than Frieza at the time?
Yeah.
But the movie's horribly written, because then Goku just goes Super Saiyan and goes, I shoot you into the sun. And
also,
Cooler gets like
Super
no
Saiyan
time.
Is just better than Frieza's.
Right, but then Frieza's like awesome in Super.
Because
so like
gold Frieza.
it's stupid. If you wanted to make Cooler good, you can make Cooler good. You just got to
Gold
write it so
Cooler.
that he's good.
Yeah.
No, he's got to go platinum.
But it's
Yeah, platinum
canonically
Cooler.
not canon that he's not cool.
Very cold Cooler.
Um,
Anyway, put Cooler in Dragon Ball. That's all I'm saying.
Knights of the Old Republic,
Canonically.
Brandon, I think you know the most about this.
Oh, did we not talk about that last week?
No, we did not. We never got into it.
Oh. Okay. I mean, there's not like a fuckload of news on that. I talked to you about this somewhat. But the rumor going around is that Knights of the Old Republic is supposedly getting a quote-unquote either reboot or remake. And I'm horrified.
Yeah, it's
As
scary.
you should be.
Scary.
Well, okay,
Because
so
we're
here's the thing.
looking at...
Remake, please. Because...
I would just prefer like...
Well, no. What I would prefer is just an HD re-release.
Yeah.
It's basically running on the D20 Star Wars system. You're good. Dialogue is already fine. Just bring that over. Don't need to rewrite fucking a single line. Not at all. And then you have free money.
Honestly,
So-
like I would prefer, because first of all, we know they're not going to do that. Just from the wording, it sounds like what they're doing is they're making something like new in like the Knights of the Old Republic timeline. And
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
well, what I mean when I
it's a
say
nightmare, terrible, whatever, I don't care.
well, what I
Just
mean
don't
when I
play
say
it.
new is that nobody's 100% sure, but the wording is that it could be a reboot to bring the game in line with new canon. And no one knows what that means. So the fear is that they're
That's
going to take
scary.
the first game, just redo it. It'll probably be shittier than the original. And
I'm
they'll
fucking screaming on the
and
inside.
they will probably be changing story elements to make it
You'll
fit
see
with
a
like
picture of just internal screen.
to make it fit
Oh,
with
yeah.
something because they reference the character from because I haven't seen the movie, but you guys told me that they referenced the character from KotOR 2 in the recent movie,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Which screams to me that that it's possible EA is publishing a new KotOR, which is just a redo of the first game, complete redo of the fucking story and plot. Similar ideas, like probably still like Revan and shit like that, but like with changes done to make it like something that Disney's okay with and like canonical. Which is what it sounds like to me. I'm fucking spitballing. I don't know this for sure, and I don't think anybody does know. But if that's true, I'm horrified. Because KotOR is my favorite Star Wars thing in existence. And if they fuck it up, I'm going to be real fucking pissed. And I'll refuse to accept it as canon. The first game will still be canon in my
You
heart.
can refuse it all you
Okay,
want.
No, yeah, I can. Because it's all fake bullshit anyway, Rob. And to me, that first game will still be fucking canon.
To you.
And the
Because I
second
mean,
game.
well, and here's the weird thing. I
It won't be
mean,
real.
lore-wise,
What is real, Richie?
lore-wise, they've already been ruined because of the Old Republic.
True.
But
Yeah, I guess. But even still, that's technically not canon either, right? It's like a running
Technically, yeah,
game
that is
that's
not
also
canon.
not canon. So
yeah,
Nothing is canon.
Really?
no, the movies.
Really?
That's
The
it.
movies are canon, and the show Clone Wars is canon.
really,
Yeah.
the only thing
And
we know...
Rebels.
And Rebels, yeah.
The only thing we know from these like EU games, specifically like the Old Republic era
Didn't
games,
Disney
that's
release some
canon.
Comics?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh
those
my
comics.
God, they're bad. Let's not get into that.
But those are also canon.
I know nothing about those,
Very bad.
but apparently they're bad. The only thing we know from the Old Republic that's canon right now is that character that gets referenced
Yeah.
from KotOR 2. It's the only thing. We don't even know if Revan's fucking canon at this point, right?
Nope.
Just
No.
that dude from KotOR 2.
well,
but
since he's canon,
Right.
technically, that legitimizes anything that guy has talked
but
about.
they could be remaking the first game, and who knows what the
Well,
fuck that
I think
means.
that's we don't know that. Just because the character itself is canon, his actions aren't necessarily canon. They could just be
Well,
using
yeah,
the characters. I
'cause
mean,
that's-
they technically own it.
Give me
Spoil
the
nothing, because
Wookiee.
I'm actually going to play KotOR 2 like very soon.
Nice.
Because I have it on Steam and I want to play it, and I just played KotOR 1 like a year ago. Because even as a kid, I never played KotOR 2. But I'm very scared that they're going to fuck up KotOR 1, is the moral of the story.
Probably.
Like
So-
anything EA is going to touch, like why do you gotta reboot the one thing I give a fuck about, dude?
Yeah.
Like in
Reboots
Star Wars,
and
why?
remakes don't always have to go bad. Like,
Yeah, but it's EA,
They
Rob.
tend
Yes.
to. It's
They
EA
tend to.
and Disney.
I forgot the juiciest morsel of the story.
Go ahead.
This is the juiciest part. Supposedly, according to the rumor and the leak, is that they are potentially refusing to give it to BioWare.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Supposedly.
That's good.
So
I like
it could
that.
be someone else deving it.
To a point. I'm okay with that.
I am
Me too.
also okay with
But it's
that.
also hilarious
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like
Very funny.
insulting that like EA would be like, no, but not you though.
That's because all the people working
EA
the game
is
are no
not
longer
one to
there.
fucking talk, honestly.
No, they're not. But it's
still.
it's so funny that even they, in their like fucked up, horrible business practices, can realize like our studio kind of sucks nowadays, and we don't want to give them the opportunity to fuck this up.
They're gonna go the way of so many other studios. You're gonna hear about
You're gonna
BioWare is gonna be mentioned along with like Westwood and Maxis and all those
and
other the
fucking
Leapfrog,
help me, the Dead Space one,
Visceral, yeah.
You're gonna get Mass Effect Andromeda levels of facial expressions in the
Oh my
KotOR if it was
God.
BioWare.
Revan will never take off his mask. He'll start with it just because they
Maybe that's why they'll do it, because they don't gotta do face
yeah,
animations.
Yeah,
well,
they'll
for
be
one
down with
character
it.
at the very least.
They'll give that one character to
Sell
to
Mass
BioWare.
Effect rights to
Yeah.
other
Pity.
people.
You
I
can do this
want
one.
more Mass Effects.
The one that no one can see.
Speaking of space. No,
Space.
what? I don't even know what I'm talking about.
What fucking
Speaking of
I wanted to
reworks,
talk about fucking Baldur's Gate 3, and I opened it with "Let's talk about space."
Yeah, I don't know about
I
that.
mean, did you see the beginning of the gameplay trailer?
I mean, yeah, but still, that
It
was
looks like a
hell of
spaceship.
That was a hell of a stretch.
It had
anyway,
space in it? Baldur's Gate 3 has space in it?
Have you not seen it?
No.
The
I
Mind
watched that.
Flare was like in what looked like a
Very
freaking
cool.
spaceship.
It's very
Cool.
A Cthulhu spaceship.
Well, I mean,
Neat.
people don't realize D&D has weird shit like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just it never gets brought
It's
up.
got old guys.
All
shit
the
because,
like great old one shit.
That
Mind
used to
Flares,
be one of-
It's like space.
That literally second edition. Gygax made one of his outrageous dungeons that just murdered you, and it was all just like you and a bunch of other dickheads are in a spaceship that crashed into a mountain.
I mean, that was always
it.
like aberrant shit in D&D. Like, old god stuff has always been a
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, it's always had its weird Lovecraftian
Anyway,
monsters.
Yeah,
so it's
legit look like a
so
spaceship.
it looks good,
Legit
turn based or maybe real time with a pause. The dialogue is really interesting. It reads nightmarishly bad, but I like it because well,
Does not inspire confidence.
because so here's the thing:
Well,
is
you mean like the writing?
no, because
I
we don't
mean,
know the
Well, no,
writing yet.
I mean, like, what do you mean it reads bad? Like the writing on the dialogue options?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't mean like the writing as in the actual dialogue. I meant the writing as to the literal words that you have to pick.
Right. So the
Yeah.
way it's set up is it's set up narratively. I like it, but I also don't like it because it's like the way it looks on screen is so you have your dialogue choices and they're in a list. So far, we've only seen 4 choices, but maybe there's a scroll option. Don't know about that. But it is narrative. So it's not like your Mass Effects where it's just like a couple of text and it's like red, blue, neutral, yellow. It basically every dialogue choice was like instead of just yes, I agree, it would be like I nodded, I fell in line with his position. So like, and those are the selections. So it's like I shook my head, I didn't agree with what he said. So
it's like Divinity.
yeah,
Because that's how Divinity is.
it's
I picked up Divinity.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
But just looking at it on screen, it looks really clunky. But again, that's no real.
It was
merit or
definitely
demerit.
like that was definitely kind of jarring for me when I started playing Divinity 2. And like those first dialogue options popped up and I was like, oh, this is very different. Like it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like I'm not like it's weirdly written like from like the perspective of my character and the physical actions that they're taking. It's very different from like most other RPGs.
The thing I could talk about it like most similarly, and I like it for like the feel and flavor. It's basically what you would do if you're talking to a DM.
Yeah.
And
That was exactly what I got from it. Is like Divinity 2 feels the closest I've ever like it's the best experience I've ever had in a game of like trying to feel like I'm playing a tabletop RPG.
Yes,
That's kind of what it feels like.
Well,
and it's made by the same guys.
Yeah, same company. To go on that point, it's like you're talking to a DM, like something. I think it was some developer. I don't remember who, but like he was saying that like part of a good RPG is also like your DM is always rolling dice. So that goes into one of the mechanics that sometimes you'll just be like walking and you'll see just like a little symbol above your dude that's like an eye. and that'll be your perception check. And if you
that's
pass it, if you pass it, you'll get like maybe some like rocks will start glowing, and it'll be like, go find something there. Or like you'll find like maybe like a hidden door or something.
That's very interesting. Once again, not to continue making this point of comparison, but it is the same dev. Like Divinity has similar shit, so that's not too shocking to me that they're
How
doing
is
stuff
Divinity
like that.
replayable wise? Did you enjoy playing it?
I mean, I haven't finished it yet,
Oh, really?
but
Replayable wise, I can tell you right now, it's fucking insane.
there's many different builds that you can fucking do.
Well, first off, there's many different builds, but even narratively, certain races just get access to things that other races don't.
Yeah.
So, for example, in those games, elves are really fucking cool, and they have this weird kind of like shamanistic voodoo thing going on, so that they could consume flesh of like even corpses, and you get info and context of how that person died. So if you played the game and you had no elf in that party, you would never be able to access any of that content. The lizard people, which I can't remember their actual racial name.
I think they're literally the lizards.
Yeah.
I think that's actually their name.
I love lizards.
Is very
The
similar.
lizards.
Is that they're diviners. So if they have like a lock of hair, they could do that. So like right now, the way I'm playing it is I'm using Lone Wolf to make my guys buffed. So I only have 2 characters, and I'm a boring human, and then I have the elf companion, which even all the companions have their own storylines and quests. Some are way more attention was paid to them than others. Like the dwarf is kind of a waste of a character slot.
Really?
Yeah, he adds,
I haven't experienced
he
this.
adds like nothing.
Okay.
There's like very little specific dialogue
Well,
to
to
him.
like to bring it back to Baldur's Gate though, like they had the preset characters. They're saying that like these preset characters, they all have like fleshed out backstories.
Once
and stuff.
again, that's Divinity.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it all pops up within the course of the story.
Yep.
They're very much taking from games they've
yeah.
already done, which
So,
is awesome because the system in Divinity 2, which is exactly what you're describing they're doing with Baldur's Gate, feels heavily like Dragon Age Origins and like Inspiration, where it's like it's not quite the same thing, but it's really cool. It's like you get to pick a character that has a backstory. You still get to choose their class, how they look, and stuff like that if you want. But you pick this like origin character, and if you're playing as them, you have all these like special dialogue things that happen based on like your backstory, and it's like really fucking dope.
And even if you create your own, you get to pick tags.
Yeah.
And
Which fill a similar hole.
by picking those tags, yeah, they're not nearly as fleshed out,
No.
but you'll have dialogue choices that if you don't have that tag, you can never say.
Yeah.
I'm looking
That's very
forward
cool.
to it, and I probably will get it when it gets on the
Early access.
Early
Because it's
access.
going to be in early access.
It's gonna be an early
Yeah,
access.
they don't have a date for it yet, but sometime this year.
Okay.
I'm very excited,
I'll get it at some point, but probably not. in early access.
The character creation, like what they showed, they didn't show like the options to like change the like look of your character, but they did show like picking the races, and they had the races, and there's some cool races in
And
there,
sub-races.
and sub-races. There's like every variant of elf,
of course.
different halflings, dwarves, humans. Githyanki, which I thought was like really cool because I don't know much about them. Apparently, they hate mind flayers.
Oh, yeah,
it seems
they're-
mind flayers are like the main enemy.
Well, it's
The fact that
because
they're
the
in there is kind of
Githyanki
awesome.
are like were enslaved by the mind flayers, and then their people kind of broke free and then devoted their lives to murdering them all. They're very honorable.
half elves. You got like
people.
drow even.
That's cool.
Half drow.
Jesus.
One of the preset characters, and I feel like everyone and their grandmother is going to play this preset character, was the one they showed. I wonder why.
Yeah,
It's an elf. I think he's a high elf.
noble.
He's the only way, I believe, you can get to play a vampire because he's
wow.
not a vampire, but he's a vampire spawn,
Okay.
which basically means he's just a weaker vampire.
Yeah.
And
Which
Yeah,
will
right.
probably allow him to become a
showed
full-blood
scenes that, like,
vampire.
you could choose if you want to be like a good vampire or kind of shit vampire. You could feed on your party members and you can kill them by feeding
Wow.
on them.
Yikes.
And that's all based
cool.
on rolls.
Nice.
Nice.
So is this like a quick question before we like move on? Have they shown if this is going to be like, is it going to be Divinity in the sense that if you don't play the preset characters, they still like spawn as your party members?
I believe
Yes,
so.
I
Okay,
believe
so
they
you
did
can still
that.
kind of experience that
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
if you're not playing as.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I don't know if you're gonna get the like.
Just such a good system.
It's really fucking good. It's really good, and it's like to go back to the point of replayability. It's dope because it's like you can play through it one time, have these characters with these really cool backstories, experience it, and then be like, I'm gonna do it again with these other characters or as one of them myself
Right.
instead. It's very dope.
And they've said too, like everything they showed, which they actually showed a lot in terms of classes and races. They're like, yeah, we're gonna come out with more. Like these are just the ones we're gonna put out in early access. So all the missing stuff is probably going to be put in.
This strikes me as the kind of game that I'm absolutely not going to buy when it's in early access. Like I would way rather get the complete experience when it's out. Like I couldn't even imagine playing like Divinity 2, awesome fucking game. I wouldn't want to play it if like half the content was in it and it was in early access. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pick that up when it's done and I've got all the party members and all the storylines and everything to experience in one fucking run.
And it's also apparently, as opposed to the other Baldur's Gates, it's leaning heavily on 5th edition.
Okay.
And like its lore,
I mean that makes sense,
and all that type of stuff. Yeah,
got to push that new shit.
Even the saves, everything. Yeah, it's 5th edition.
Push that new shit.
Speaking of new shit.
Oh yeah, speaking of new stuff and 5th edition, MTG and our beloved D&D are doing another plane shift coming out soon.
Magic the Gathering?
Yes.
Nice.
Plane shift.
Not everyone knows what MTG means.
Yeah, fair
There's
enough.
probably some nerds out there that don't play Magic.
Probably. But,
And by nerds, I mean not nerds, because the nerds would play Magic, like us.
But anyway, Theros, the setting Theros. So if you like a semi-Greek inspired setting, Theros Plane Shift is coming out relatively soon. They don't have a set release date, but they did show some cover art for it. And usually with every Plane Shift, you get a few new races and usually some sort of subclass. Usually they do cleric domains. You get some bonuses, some new, some reflavoring, if anything. Like in Amonkhet, they released a few different cleric domains. And they always do, like I said, races. So I'm interested to see what kind of races we'll get in Theros. Also, the new Unearthed Arcana came out.
Yep.
And I won't go into a full-blown description of everything that came out in the Unearthed Arcana. But Artificer got its first semi-legit new subclass, the Armorer. So if you like being a big fuck-off in heavy armor...
Spec Marine.
A Spec Marine.
Yeah. The Armorer...
Or a Stormcast Eternal, which is just a Spec Marine.
If you like being in heavy armor but don't want to use your strength modifier, this is a way to do it. The Battlesmith was...
Or if you want to play Iron Man.
True.
Because you get Blaster Hand.
You play Iron Man?
You can get Blaster Hand.
You get Repulsor Blast?
Iron Man, I can't talk.
Repulsor Blast.
You either get Thunder Gauntlets or you get Lightning Launchers.
Cool.
That's your big thing.
And
when's Marvel?
It's specifically worded to say that they're either on your hands or in your chest.
They knew where they were going.
Literally Iron Man.
Chest blaster.
Yeah.
Nice.
When's Marvel, baby?
They knew exactly what they were going for.
It's Marvel. We Marvel now.
Another subclass is for the Druid, the Circle of Stars.
Is this still shittier than the other one?
Yes.
Cool.
But it's all right.
I personally enjoy it because they're branching off and doing more stuff with Wild Shape.
Branching. No pun intended.
I will put this. This is my hot take on it. It's okay. I actually like it.
Still shittier than the other one.
It's not as good as Moon Druid. Nothing will ever be as good as Moon Druid.
It depends on what you're going for. If you want to be the person who shapeshifts into animals, yes, nothing will beat Moon Druid. This is a very new and nice way to use your wild shapes in a different way that is effective still. It's much more effective than the Circle of Spores, in my personal opinion.
I will still argue to my dying breath that if you want to play a full caster, you still go Moon Druid because there's no negative. Yeah, maybe you don't get the castery stuff of the other subclasses, but you just gain the survivability. And eventually, you'll be able just to cast your spells in beast form.
You're going under the assumption you make it that far in a game. Not every game goes to level 20.
I'm still better off than any other caster.
Welcome to the segment of the podcast where these two look at each other and argue over D&D subclasses.
And lastly...
But I'll end it there for the sake of time, because I'll be here all night.
He can try arguing all he wants, but...
Oh.
Yikes.
And lastly is
just the
Ranger.
cuts. Podcast cuts. All you hear is strangling and like, please don't get off.
And the podcast hard cuts to only Anthony on a mic being like, the podcast is over. There will be no fourth episode.
Lastly is for the Ranger, and it's called the Fey Wanderer. Personally, I have to say, I like this a lot. It's a
very cool.
Psychic damage Ranger.
It's very cool.
This seems to be a shtick. Are they just doing this for every class now? Just giving them all like psychic damage?
Yes.
A little
subclasses?
bit.
Okay.
Giving them a
They
bit.
go, what do they don't have? All right, we'll put it in a subclass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them all a psychic variant.
Your-
Kind of like how everyone has shitty wizard.
Yes.
As a variant.
Everyone's
And
got
just
a
like
way of-
everyone has that, but with armor.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, when you go back
weird.
and look at Pathfinder, they all had some way of getting something with each.
Well, it's a really easy way to just keep generating classes. Is like you set up the core concept and then you just blend them.
Yeah.
So it's like here's a subclass where it's those two, and then you could do it for both classes if you just focus on different things a little bit, because it's like even if it's just ranger and wizard, it's like the ranger wizard is going to be different than the wizard ranger.
I think personally, I'm still a
Unlimited
fan of
content.
the Horizon Walker more.
Unlimited content.
I'm still a fan of the Horizon Walker a little bit more, but with the Fey Wanderer, you do get a lot more like moving around, and tricking kind of spells,
And a smite.
and you get a smite.
The most important
basically.
part.
You get a
Smite.
psychic smite.
Cool.
That sounds neat.
Sounds
actually.
OP.
A little bit. It's not
It's-
as good as a smite like
It's
a paladin
better.
gets.
It's better early.
Lower
not
spell
early
slots.
levels. The way it works is it's like 3d8 or something like that. It's like
3d6.
Oh, it's 3d6, which with a first and second level spell slot, it's actually kind of like better than a paladin smite. Not the third level, but the first and second level, it's like better than a paladin smite, but it doesn't get better past that. So then paladins, and I believe warlocks as well, just smite better in hexblade locks. Just smite better at higher spell slot levels.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
But it's
going
cool.
to lightning round a little bit here. So GDC, the Game Developers Conference, has been coronavirus to shit.
Hell yeah. Rip.
First it was Unreal,
Damn
then it
Corona.
was first it was Sony, Unreal, Amazon. Everyone's pulled out to the point where the conference itself has been delayed.
Hey, quick aside, because I forgot about this because the game's not a good one.
Right.
Did you know that in Resident Evil 6, the entire plot is that China gets fucked up by a virus? Do you know what the name of the virus is?
What?
It's the C virus.
That's fucking coincidental.
Resident Evil 6 called the coronavirus. Little do we know, RE6 is happening right now in China.
Kamiya.
It's not funny.
No, it's hilarious.
The idea that zombies are running around China is kind of funny.
BOWs and shit.
With the
You know,
C virus.
honestly, just another little aside. It's very weird that there hasn't been much zombie media that like takes place because China is like fucking population dense as shit.
No, yeah, but zombie virus in China would be horrendous.
Yeah.
28 days
fucked.
later in China, the world would be fucked.
Oh boy, yeah.
Especially if they're all fast.
So
Though the ocean might stop them.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man.
Maybe.
They'll make zombie rafts. Anyway.
Moving on.
Platinum, bunch of news. They have 4 announcements, and they're going through it. So the first one was a remake of Wonderful 101. Kamiya was on a panel claiming that he will make fucking anything. He just needs the money, citing things like even Scalebound and goddamn DMC 0.
I'm imagining, just interesting quick aside on that as well, that would be, it's cool to hear him say stuff like that, but the more I thought about it after you told me, it's like, cool to hear him say that, but it's like there's probably some legal shit that's wrapped up with Scalebound. Like Microsoft probably owns that name. He could make something that's very similar,
Right.
but it wouldn't be
And the
Scalebound as we knew it.
And then the main bit of news was the trailer for Project GG, which is supposedly the last entry in his Hero trilogy.
I was not expecting that shit.
No.
When I saw the trailer for that, I was like, oh, cool, new Platinum game. I'm excited. There's going to be some character action thing. And then it came up, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like this weird, like, apparently, I didn't even know Ultraman
Oh, yeah.
was a thing, but apparently it's this weird Ultraman thing, and it's a giant guy fighting kaiju, and I was like...
It's closer to Gridman, if anything.
I was expecting Revengeance or, like, Bayonetta, and I got...
Sentai.
Yeah, I got Jet Jaguar.
Hell yeah.
It was very surprising. I was like, okay. Weird.
Whatchamacallit? Fortnite earnings.
Footnut. Whatever. Super Data came out with a story. It's very hilarious. It says that their earnings are the lowest they've ever been.
Oh, shit.
Recently, which is very... And then the CEO of Epic came out and was like, Super Data doesn't have access to our earning reports. So the story is not factual. They're lying.
Jesus.
Which people were quick to point out that a month prior, the same dude, I believe his name's Tim Sweeney or something like that,
Okay.
came out and praised SuperData for a report that they did on Fortnite a month prior. So who knows who's talking shit? But apparently Fortnite earnings are the shittiest they've ever been.
I believe it.
Fucknut.
Blizzard and D4.
Blizzard and D4, they've been sharing constant updates, which people point out is very strange because that's not something that Blizzard typically does. I wonder why they're doing that. Maybe because everyone's talking shit about Blizzard at the moment. But apparently they're saying that what they've been doing is they've been updating Diablo 4 from what people have seen to make it like grittier and darker and stuff like that. Like they're doing monster designs to make them darker. They're fucking with the art style. They're doing the UI to make it like dark and gritty and shit because they want to throw it back to like Diablo 1 and 2 as opposed to 3.
Rockstar is putting up hints for a new game.
There were images on Rockstar's website which are super fucking interesting because one of them is kind of nonsensical. It's like a weird retro sci-fi golden robot woman who's holding like something. I can't remember what it is. And the other one is even more interesting because it's like a fucked up version of Red Dead Redemption 2's logo, but somewhere in the picture people pointed out you can see the word bullying in it. So people are thinking Bully 2.
Ooh.
Could be coming.
Neat.
Possibly.
The inventor of the Konami code died.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
79 years old. The Konami code will live on fucking forever and everything.
Frictional ARG.
That shit's cool. It's Frictional, for those who don't know, being the people who make Amnesia and Soma and stuff like that, came out with a 27-second long trailer on YouTube that is unlisted. You can't actually find it unless you get it through a link from like an article or something like that. And it's just a woman in a desert and she's like, I gotta tell him. He's gotta know. And then she says that like her name is Tessie. And then her eyes open and she's in a desert and there's just a cave that she can see in like the side of a hill and it's just like beaming light into the horizon, and then the trailer ends. So people are wondering, and she's like, I have to remember, like, I am Tessie. I'm still Tessie. So people are wondering if it's like a weird Soma continuation or something because of the identity crisis implications.
Well, I mean, even in the first Amnesia, they had that as a thing.
Yeah, so people are wondering, it's not very frictional to make a sequel from what we know of them, but people are speculating that maybe they are. It's possible, but it might not be. It could be something else.
Valve International.
Valve is
Dota.
Valve is soliciting. They're asking for bids. They've proposed a document that says, "Hey, cities, please bid on us hosting the International in your city." And giving data to be like, listen, when we did it in Vancouver, we injected like $7.8 million into your fucking
I
economy.
totally agree with the fact that they should do that.
We real sports now.
Yeah.
State-sponsored teams.
I mean, seriously.
State-sponsored stadiums.
That's probably not going to happen.
No.
That's Overwatch
Do you
League, and that's just not
remember
going
seeing,
so hot at the
crowd
moment.
and shit?
What, at the International?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge. Like, yeah, definitely.
People show up for that shit.
Definitely bring in like millions of dollars.
But then again, last
of
year's
revenue.
crowd was a Chinese crowd, and people in China love Dota. And there's a lot of people in China.
Leave
So.
us alone.
Well, they do. It's true. China's very popular in Dota.
China is
They got
very
bigger
popular in
things to worry-
Dota.
And
They got bigger things to worry about than Dota.
at the moment,
Internationals.
yes. But back during TI9, Richie,
They need to nerf that hero.
the Resident Evil 6 C virus was but a twinkle in people's eyes. And they were very down for Dodo.
Third-party Smash poll.
Sora and Dante topped it as being the characters that people want the most.
Interesting.
Sword characters.
Runners up, yeah. But sword characters people want as opposed to Fire Emblem characters no one asked for. They're also on the list. I can't remember the order. Steve from Minecraft. As well as some other shit that I don't recall, to be completely honest, at
Where's
the moment.
Goku?
I could look up the article, but we're moving quick, so fuck it. But Steve was on there,
All right.
which is hilarious.
Stellaris Federation.
I know nothing about
Comes out
this.
March 17th. It's awesome. It adds Origins. They take some civics out that, used to be civics, and they made them Origins. Basically, whenever you make an empire now, you pick an origin, and they could be like, oh, we're in a tomb world. Oh, our planet exploded. We're
I'm a
in habitat.
Necron.
It changes up the way the game's played. Besides that, there's like a lot of diplomacy changes, a lot of federation changes. It's very cool. You make trade unions, or you could have like a fucked up hegemony where you have like trial by combat to take control of the federation.
Neat.
It's a lot of cool stuff, and I'm very excited. March 17th.
Overwatch hero pools.
I fucked your twist tie up a little bit. I'm sorry.
That's
So
all
I
your
was
fault.
fidgeting with it in my hand. Overwatch hero pools. Once again, I wish I had more time to talk about it, but it's very interesting because basically certain people in like the pro scene and high MMR have been asking for hero bands for a long time because Overwatch has a history of having a fucked up meta where like 2 or 3 heroes are the best at all times, and people are sick of playing against the same team comps over and over and over and over and over again. So certain people have been like, can we get hero bans every game? We could just ban some heroes. And Overwatch. Jeff Kaplan or someone from the Overwatch team literally came out, went on the forums and went, hey, we're not going to do that because we don't think it gels well with the game and what we want from it. And then like a month later, they were like, actually, we're doing it, but not the way you want. So instead of letting you choose what heroes get banned, we're just going to ban like 2 random heroes every week.
We've talked about this before. Fucking trash.
Yeah, no, it's really stupid.
It's absolutely
I honestly think I don't even necessarily agree with hero bans. I think they should just balance the fucking game better.
Yeah.
That's just me. And
at least for a game like Overwatch.
Right.
When you get into the Dota and leagues where there's just too many
100 and something heroes, then yes.
Yeah, you could have bans.
Then hero bans make sense.
20, no.
When there's like 20 or 30, it's like just balance the game better. But whatever, we're getting hero bans. I would be better with getting them if it was literal hero bans. If I could go into a match and people would vote for like, I don't want to play against Brigitte, and then they'd ban that, as opposed to just being like, well, next week it's going to be Tor, Genji, and Reinhardt that no one can play, and then the week after that it's going to be Sombra and it's fucking stupid. Just give it to people the way they want it. Oh, they're also fucking, small aside, they're also fucking something that's absolutely crazy, which is that they have a game type currently you can play, because they basically got rid of the PTR and now you just do it in game. They have like a test card that you can play. And what they're fucking with right now is roll queue. That instead of a 2-2-2, it's 1 tank, 3 DPS, 2 support. And they're buffing off tanks like crazy to make up for this. So Roadhog has an AoE heal now. So when he huffs his paint, when Roadhog huffs his paint, he leaves behind a fart cloud of paint that other people can huff and get healed. And like Diva's defense matrix lasts for like 5 seconds instead of like 2 now instead, to try to like make them main tanks instead of off tanks. Because you can only have 1 tank on the team. Yeah. It's crazy.
Interesting.
It's bonkers.
It's interesting.
Riot FPS. A bunch of images leaked.
It looks cool. I'm not going to lie.
It seems like it's going to be Overwatch Strike Global Offensive, where it's...
Which is very interesting.
Where it's you start a round, but instead of just buying guns, you're also buying powers. Like your ults and everything, so you get to really like kit yourself out.
Is that the thing you buy powers too?
Yeah, supposedly that's it's either you buy powers or the character you pick
has the powers,
but then you're buying guns.
It's probably that, because I know there's multiple characters,
which is cool because I like that shit. That shit's my jam.
I think it's a really interesting concept. I'd actually be really interested to see them, because I don't really give a fuck about League, but if they make a decent first-person shooter, like
the only way that it could go very poorly is if it like sieges it up, where it's like our first cast is just kind of like interesting, and then every other character release is just overpowered as shit. And that's what people play.
That happens in games.
True.
Like when Brigitte came out in Overwatch and literally fucked the meta for a year.
Yeah. Falcon and Winter Soldier leak.
Yes. Apparently there's some leaks. They got to be taken with a grain of salt, but some corroborating information has shown that at least part of them are somewhat reliable. But mainly, the big takeaway is that there's a character in it that is supposedly a mutant. And that's Omega Red.
Yeah.
And that's sick.
Which is so crazy. I got very excited about this.
We don't know if they're using the term mutant, but we do know that...
I don't see why they wouldn't, because they own that shit now, don't they?
It was like last year that some guy who works for like Marvel or whatever said that they're going to add mutants into the MCU.
Well, Disney owns it now, right? They bought all the Fox shit. So
they're going to do it. So is this going to be one of the first iterations of that? We don't know.
I hope so. I think it would be fucking sick.
The only thing is tangentially, this increases the chances of Omega Red being in the next Marvel vs. Capcom.
It does. Because as we know, if MVC is currently being developed behind the scenes, which is possible, according to possible leaks and rumor, that Disney will force that roster to be nothing but characters from their current like stuff that they're pushing, like movies and shows and shit.
True.
So mutants in Marvel vs. Capcom could be possible, especially if they've got plans to continue using them. They're going to be like, yeah, get Magneto in that fucking MVC game. Like, do it.
And that was the lightning round. Yay.
Tight. Let's get to the big shit.
I had one more thing to add.
What?
Oh, he's got one more thing.
Yeah. The confirmed Borderlands DLC titled Love, Guns, and Tentacles.
Nice.
I love tentacles. That's hentai.
Lovecraftian inspired. I have to give Rich credit here. He was right on which Volhunter would be there. It was Gage.
Nice.
Not hard to guess.
Who the fuck's Gage again?
The Necromancer.
The
Oh, I said that shit too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, why isn't it just the Necromancer? That'd be awesome.
You had a DLC based around a cult, and you have a class in the game called a Necromancer.
Thank God.
Of course it was going to be.
I'm actually very happy about that. That's
So, trailers on it. It'll be coming out, I think, sometime in late March. I don't have the confirmation right in front of me. I just know it's coming out relatively soon, actually.
Nice.
cool being arena.
You know what? Odd side note to that is it's good on them for keeping that under wraps. Like if it's coming out like later this month, like usually shit gets spoiled like
We live in the age of leaks and
instantly.
data mines.
Yeah.
Also, they did release what their next DLC will be about: bandits riding dinosaurs.
Cool.
Woo! That's a very Borderlands thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be very.
I mean, they held
interesting.
the whole dinosaur planet too. In
True.
The third game, so
What we hitting? We hitting big shit now?
Yes.
Let's talk about the Kojima thing. It's very interesting.
You lead.
Have you heard about this?
I have not.
Very interesting. So a dude from, as we all know, Kojima no longer with Konami.
Yes.
Has his own development studio. Made Death Stranding. A dude from Kojima Productions tweeted something recently, like within the last week or so, that was a picture of him, and the wording in the tweet. It's a picture of him and then and the actual wording of the tweet. And what he said was something like, "Sorry that we've been silent for so long."
Silent Hill's confirmed.
And people were like, "That's really interesting that he used the word silent." And people were like, "Well, that's kind of crazy, right? Like, well, it's just silent. Why would he say silent? It's just silent. It's just a word. It's silent." And then everyone was like, "He's holding a Pyramid brand pencil in the picture," and then people went nuts.
Right.
So speculation is that maybe he's hinting at the fact that Kojima Productions is working on a Silent Hill game currently. I personally would be shocked if that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that.
why would he do that? Do you
It
think
is
it's just,
weird.
Like, highly. What's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. Wow.
What?
Legality is a question.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you think that's just coincidence, or do you think it was planned?
Well, here's the thing.
That seems very planned.
I think I think Kojima and everybody who works with him knows social media very well. They're not strangers to this like ARG shit.
Did you ever see the Death Stranding thing? Like all the crazy shit that like retroactively made your minds explode.
I think I'd heard something. about it,
Kojima's
but I
all
don't know.
about that. There's one time he was like, it was just him with like one of the actors. I can't remember if it was Reedus or whatever. It's a picture of him, and then there was just like there were like Legos on the table, like while they were talking, and later like they released a trailer, and it was like there was one shot that was literally what the Legos were, like. He does that shit on purpose.
I think it's too. So knowing what went down with Kojima and Konami, like it was very public. It was very fucking violent. Like it wasn't a great split. That being said, it's very on the nose. Like, why would the guy have a sentence with silent in it and he's holding a Pyramid brand pencil? It seems like he knows what he's doing.
It's
And
also not
like-
impossible
No, it's
for
not.
Konami to reach out.
Now, here's the interesting thing about this, and this is just me. This isn't me reading anyone saying this. But going off what we were talking about last time we did this podcast with the very credible leaker who talked about Resident Evil shit, he came out and he was like, Konami might be making, or is making, according to him, 2 Silent Hill games. One is a soft reboot, and the other one is the episodic Telltale style thing.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say who was developing it.
No.
He just said someone's making Silent Hill games. Konami's funding it.
Yeah.
What if they made up? What if they kissed and made up? Konami came to Kojima Productions and went, "Hey, we want you to be our platinum. Please take the Silent Hill license and make Silent Hills." I mean, the world would fucking explode.
Oh,
if
yeah.
in like a week or two, or probably maybe longer than that,
Yeah.
Kojima Productions comes out with a fucking Silent Hills trailer, it's gonna print money.
Oh,
like
yeah.
people are gonna go bonkers.
And it's
Including me.
Everyone liked PT.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, Konami's a shit company, but at the end of the day, like, this is what they've been doing with Silent Hill for years. They go to other devs, typically more Western devs who've been fucking up the series, but they go to devs and they go, "Please make us a Silent Hill game." Why can't they approach Kojima at his own studio and be like, "Listen, we're sorry about that shit. Make us a new Silent Hill game." It's entirely possible.
Right.
So I'm taking it with a grain of salt. It might not be a fucking real thing, but it is super on the nose for this dude from Kojima Productions to be like, "Hey, I know everyone gives a shit about Silent Hill. That's gonna pick up hard."
And by the way, did we get any get any like real confirms that like the split was ugly? Like I've heard a billion rumors on it, but There's an off chance that it was amicable.
From the outside looking in, it looked rough. Like legally telling him he can't go to the Game Awards, scrubbing his name from the box of MGS5. Like it looked harsh from the outside looking in. But we don't know. Right. So who knows? Maybe they approached him, and maybe he's more willing to do it now that he's not under their thumb in the literal sense, that he's not working at the company. He's at his own development studio.
Okay. So now we're going to take some time where everyone checks out, and I just talk about Warframe for a while.
No, I mean, I'll talk about this shit. You talk about this shit too. Warframe sucks. Warframe sucks now, dude.
Oh, I don't need time to talk about that.
It fucking blows now. Fucking Railjack came out. Nothing they promised was true.
To make it suck more.
Well, the stuff that they promised came out, and it was all bad, and it wasn't what they promised it was going to be. Like Railjack was kind of broken and a massive grind. This has nothing to do with what he's going to talk about because he's going to.
No. I'm going to talk about that. Look,
Kuva Lich was supposed to be the Nemesis system from like Shadow of War, but it sucks. It's like nowhere near as good.
It's even worse because you haven't played. It's even worse than you think. The problem with Railjack isn't the grind.
Well, I've heard the grind's shit.
The grind is shit.
Like getting the Railjack sucks.
But the problem is you grind to it, and then at the end you can max everything out, and you still suck. Like the end game area
is rough.
If you fight in the Railjack, you just die.
Nice.
You have to get out of the Railjack and arc wing it. Otherwise, you lose.
Oh, so you have to play the thing that everyone loves.
It's literally impossible because of the way armor scaling and how tough those guys are in that thing.
Well, and then nerfing armor scaling.
And then when you finally max everything out, it only makes it so that you could play like the first area easy, like kind of like you would play any other Warframe mission when you're like even moderately optimally built.
But the last ones are still trash.
But the last ones are still that rough. So it's the game is getting changed up outrageously.
Some of it I'm scared of.
The primary
not
thing,
that I play it anymore, but
right. The primary thing is armor. Armor was a huge problem in the game because it scaled exponentially, and so when you got higher levels and like basically EHP levels, that like if you weren't built anti-armor, you just died.
The only viable builds, from what I recall at high level, were anti-armor. Like, no one built to stop shields, because no one cared. No. Armor was the only thing that was, like, good. It was like, oh, no, we're running into Grineer, high-level Grineer enemies. Those are the ones you got to spec to kill. Like, no one gives a fuck about specking to kill shields. And on the flip side, armor was too good for players. So, like, the only builds that were good were pumping your armor. No one pumped shields, because the shit was useless. Armor was where it was at. Right. So frames like Valkyr and Inaros and...
Rhino?
No, the other one, the infested-based one. Help me. Nidus. Frames like those were like not necessarily king shit, but they were really strong defensively because they had an armor focus.
So what they did was...
And all the shield-based frames sucked, like the one that's just Zarya.
Yeah.
Is like absolute trash.
So I don't know how much you know about it, Brandon. They actually didn't change armor for players.
Oh, they didn't?
Not at all.
Oh, well, that's actually kind of... good.
And as a matter of fact, across the board, Warframes are way tougher.
Oh, okay.
Everyone has been buffed.
They do anything to shields?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Well, Warframe shields, 25 DR, everything.
Nice.
You are just tougher with shields. Shield gate system.
I've seen that.
Damage does not bleed over. It just stops.
That's very good.
So the way accuracy works is has been changed. Everything is less accurate now, and the faster you move, the less likely you are to be hit. So... huge buff to all the fragile frames that were out there that were going quick. Any shield-based frame.
That could be a huge like buff to Titania.
Yeah, massive. Yeah. And they're thinking it's timing because Titania Prime is brewing super hard.
So they got to make her good to make that plat.
So hearing buffs, how is the game shit?
Ash is probably still
just because the game's shit.
Yeah, because the game's just...
And then even armor for enemies is now on an S curve, so it ramps up pretty strong. Then to like level 75, it flattens out. It's no longer this exponential, insane thing. So that makes all other builds way more viable. Status is being changed hugely.
Yeah, the status changes are very interesting.
Which could be a nightmare. It could be good. Where basically, so the game has status procs. The way all of those work are different. I'm not going to get into it.
Did you see the dev stream they did where they were talking about this?
Yes.
I don't watch the whole dev streams, but I watch
Shy.
What's her name? Yeah, where she sums them up.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was fucking hilarious how the dude, I can't remember his name, but he goes from being like, yeah, so shotguns are getting nerfed. so that you can no longer status proc on every individual like piece of buckshot. But don't worry, they're definitely still viable. It's like, no, they're not. He's trying to be like, yeah, but with the new status changes, shotguns are still just as good as they were before. And I'm like, they're definitely not. It's actually impossible. But what you're describing.
But here's the thing: that's okay because shotguns were OP.
Yeah.
So if
they were, and they should be nerfed.
Yeah. If they're nerfed down to that level, that's good. So.
But it's just funny how he's trying to sell it. Like, no, they're definitely just as good as they were before. It's like, no, I don't know about that.
So, and there are talks about rework. I know they changed the grind level for Railjack significantly. The armor levels might play into how the high level play for that is trash. Their next update, they're actually adding in the squad link system. It's actually going to exist.
That's pretty crazy.
They made Kuvalich's way better. Because there's the way the Kuverlich works is that they could invade any mission, and immediately the level would jump up. So even if you're playing like a level 5 mission where at a place where Kuverlich could pop up, Kuverlich jumps in. Now everything's level 100. Wow. So for certain defense type missions, that was very bad.
Or if you're just leveling like poo baby shit.
Because you're still kind of fucked on that front.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's the nature of that system, which is why, when you're going to those places where they are, just never level.
Okay, so
right?
Okay, because I haven't turned it on since
right.
Kuverlich has been a fucking thing,
and
because I ain't that into it anymore.
And yeah, so it's a lot of massive changes. You get more echoes if you're playing along. Your defensive objects scale, so if the level suddenly jumps up, they also suddenly jump up, so they're not one shot in 2 seconds. A lot of interesting things. I don't know if it'll get me back into it because there's no end game and it's trash.
I was about to say.
But at least from gameplay perspectives, which ironically gameplay was the one place it doesn't need to be polished up.
Yeah.
It's getting polished significantly.
Very cool changes, right? Like very cool core changes. The problem with your game, D, is still that you have like no semblance of an end game, and the grind is horrible.
Real.
I had a fucking moment when I stopped playing Warframe. And I'm going back like 6 months ago or 7 months ago. Whenever I was last playing with like you and shit, I had a moment where I was just like out. I'd come back from a long break. A lot of the open world shit was new to me. I got into an open world. I realized how the system works. I'm like mining for fucking rocks and shit and like ore and the gems to like up my standing. And I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, I don't want to be doing this. Like, I could be playing literally anything else, and this grind is not fun. This isn't why I play this game.
It's quite literally a closed loop. Is you're doing it to play what you're playing,
and it sucks. I
don't
like
it. And then it doesn't fill in for anything else.
I play Warframe to do cool Space Ninja bullshit, not to stand around in an open world and mine fucking rocks. Like, it's boring as fuck, and I hate it.
It's an MMO now.
It's trash.
Well, it's always kind of been.
And they got to fix that shit.
The farming simulator. Phil Spencer podcast.
That one was very interesting. So basically, he was on a podcast, and for those who don't know, Phil Spencer being not the CEO of Microsoft, the head of gaming, the gaming division at Microsoft. I'm not entirely sure what his exact title is, but he's on a podcast, and he's with the dude who's the CEO of Insomniac, and he's talking, and the guy from Insomniac Games goes, "Hey, I believe it's Insomniac. Let me just check real quick." Ted. He's on a podcast with Ted Price, and Ted Price goes, "Hey, what's the deal with all this like cloud shit? Like referencing like Stadia and the fact that like Microsoft is doing all this like cloud gaming stuff." And he's like, "Are we moving into a generation where we're gonna get away from console wars to cloud wars?" And he was like, and Phil Spencer was literally like, "I fucking hope not." he was like, "I view gaming as like a thing where I'm going to have a device plugged into my TV for like 10 years. He was also like, the most interesting thing that he said, and this is Phil Spencer we're talking about, was like, I also don't like the wars part. I try to get away from that as much as I possibly can, even referencing like console wars too.
Right.
And he was also like, I think the most interesting quote that he gave was, and I'm going to butcher the exact quote, but he said something to the effect of, I think getting to a place in gaming where you can play any game regardless of the system that you own is where we got to get to. And I thought that was really interesting to hear coming from Phil Spencer to basically be like, fuck exclusivity.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is the one positive direction I think that the industry is going. Period.
Yeah, but to hear it from the mouth of Phil Spencer is like really cool. To hear someone that far up in the fucking gaming chain be like, I don't like exclusivity. I don't really want it going forward. And also, he was like, all this cloud gaming shit. Like, we're not viewing cloud gaming like the way Stadia is. He was like, I'm viewing it as like when you're not home and in front of your Xbox. That's when like cloud stuff could be useful. Otherwise, I still want you to mostly play your games on like a device, like an Xbox and shit like that. And I just thought that was all really cool to hear from a dude like Phil Spencer, right from the fucking mouth of Xbox itself.
And to end on a high note, Warcraft 3.
Yes, Warcraft.
Oh
3.
yes, please! I almost
Brandon was
forgot.
excited for this one.
Fuck me,
So
dude.
as last week, I talked about my hot take on
We
how
are
great
very out of time, but
Warcraft
let's go, dude.
Reforged is. Oh God. And so one of the first Warcraft 3 Reforged tournaments happened. And it was a giant clusterfuck.
Nice.
It was plagued with a desync bug.
What?
And, yeah.
Wait,
And
it's a tournament. Shouldn't it be like land?
Yeah, why was it not land?
How the fuck?
because I think it's,
I'm an
it's a
idiot and I know
it's
that.
a desync bug. Like it's built into the fucking game. It's a bug in the game that it just desyncs you from the match.
What the
I guess you
Yeah.
could in theory still have a desync bug even over LAN.
Yes.
But like that's real fucked up.
That's insane though.
And the-
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
That's like broken netcode
It's just
levels.
devices, I guess.
Well, some
Getting at it.
matches, it was whatever. They didn't change the outcome as much. There was one specific match that a lot of people.
So they
were
just
like,
played through this.
Yeah,
That's
one specific
hilarious.
match that, series of matches that fucked this one player. It was two players. One was a guy named Thorzane, and the other guy was a guy called Moon. And Moon was like the favorite, but in their they got 1 of 1, no desync bug. So in the final game of their series, Thorzane was pulling ahead in the game. As you can guess, boom, desync.
Oh my god.
Based on the tournament rules, they have to restart the game. They restart the game.
Did they do that for every match where the desync bug
Yep.
happened? Oh my god.
How many games did they play?
So,
Oh my God.
we're on the second match. They're playing. Thorzane has
That's
the upper
incredible.
hand again. Desync. They have
Tell
to
me the other guy
restart.
wins.
We have to restart the game.
On restart.
They restart the game. This is now the 5th game in the series.
Holy shit.
Tell me the other guy wins.
And they roll back the graphics
Uh-huh.
to the older graphics. Maybe that's causing the desync bug.
This is hilarious. They're troubleshooting on the fly
It's
in
the
a
fucking
tournament.
Reforged tournament. They're playing on old Warcraft.
Literally troubleshooting in a
they
tournament.
revert the graphics to eliminate the desync problems. And in the 5th match of the series, finally, the other guy wins.
That's
Moon wins.
fucking incredible,
Oh my God.
dude.
And this is with the prize pool, of course. It's a tournament.
That's a joke.
yeah.
That's like a joke of a tournament.
Yeah.
Could
wow.
you imagine if like Street Fighter V was played at Evo with like netcode? Like not LAN,
God,
not
yeah.
on the same console, it's just like netcode SF5, and dudes are winning and losing based on horrible rollback.
I mean, that kind of stuff has happened.
But
not for
Yeah.
rollback, but usually like controller bugging
yeah.
out
So
DC.
right here-
like someone hits pause.
Right
by
here, I
accident.
have the
yeah.
totals. In total, this was like the big upset match that really got a lot of people mad because it was like really back. and
It was the
forth.
upset
Yeah.
match
It was
that God decided wasn't
but-
an upset match.
There were 2 drops on the main stage. This wasn't even a main stage match. This was like a quarterfinals match.
Wow.
And there's two on the main
drops
stage.
on the main stage. 6 separate matches across the group stages and playoffs also had to be restarted.
Wow.
Wow.
It was a giant clusterfuck.
That's horrendous.
That's
like
our high note.
That's like actually fucking embarrassing.
So
That's
good,
bad.
Good job on being open on D4.
Yeah,
And,
Blizzard, you're doing your best
Did
out
they
there.
like know? I mean, I'm sure this information is not publicly available, but did they like know about this desync bug going into the fucking tournament?
that I would not know.
That's like
There's no
horrendous.
way.
They had to. Have
Why
known.
would they even?
put themselves through that?
Yeah, if
But,
if this was like a real fucking common problem, like why would they do that?
A bug like that's got to be known. It was obviously
Yes.
reproducible. It happened in like almost every fucking match, right? So
Yeah.
like, God, that's horrendous.
Blizzard is just no longer known for quality content, unlike this podcast. Thank you
Yeah.
for listening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
nice fucking
Good night.
segue.